not the idea of these goals. So as I look down the text, for example, the first one I see is progress in achieving a state of good repair consistent with the state's asset management plan. Now, I cannot imagine that anyone here rejects the proposition that it's a good thing to have progress in achieving a state of good repair consistent with the state's asset management plan. What I do recognize is that there was a move in the House to say that unless you'd shown that progress, you couldn't even go forward on some of that new construction. And if that were to have prevailed, then of course my department would be responsible for implementing that law. But that's not what the law says that you passed, of course. The law does not say that you have to prove that you've made that progress on a state of good repair in order to do anything else. But I would be perplexed by any suggestion that we should
All right,
no
Secretary
longer...
Buttigieg answering questions there, discussing infrastructure, of course. Let's bring in now our panelists with their thoughts. Former Colorado State Senator Ted Harvey is joining us, alongside former New York Congressman Peter King, as well as Andrea Kaye, host of The Andrea Kaye Show. Panelists, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us today. Again, work continues in Washington. This follows a very important day and night that we saw last night, the President of the United States addressing the American public during his State of the Union address. Ted Harvey, we'll start with you. Did anything stand out in particular when you were listening to President Biden last night?
No, and I don't think it stood out to anybody out there. You know, the State of the Union address is really there to inspire the American people, one, and two is to help the party in the upcoming elections. And I don't think this president was inspiring in any way whatsoever. We are literally on the brink of a war, if you ask the president, and it's not. He didn't give anything inspiring to the American people to want to get into that war, but he also didn't help his party going into the November elections. If anything, I think he actually hurt it. So I think on any standard, I don't think this speech was a success.
Mm-hmm. Andrea, to you, we've heard a lot of Republican and conservative response to President Biden's speech. We haven't talked a whole lot about the not one, but the two Democrats who offered, I guess, for a rebuttal, right? Rashida Tlaib, and then there was a member of the Congressional Black Caucus. What are your thoughts? Rashida Tlaib, the analogy I heard this morning was like keying your own car, basically.
Well, look, Joe Biden's in, isn't it telling? Is this the first time? I'm not a historian, but I'm not aware of in history of where we had Democrats giving a rebuttal to their own president, who was the head of the Democrat Party, right?
Two of them.
Joe Biden had it, right? So and Ted Harvey is right. This is supposed to be leading your party into a success at the midterms. And he was not going to lead his party to success at the midterm and following along with what AOC and Rashida Tlaib want, right? That's why two of the areas that stand out the most to the American people are the shifts that he made, and now talking about how we can all agree that we need not to defund the police, but to fund the police, right? And that's one of the key areas that AOC and the far left wanted. So it was better strategy to try to please the people that are going to go to the polls in the midterms than AOC and Rashida Tlaib.
Was this a speech that was directed toward those independent voters, Congressman King, or those who would be weighing in on those midterm elections come November?
Yeah, trying to be objective and not just a former Republican congressman, I saw nothing in the speech that's going to help Joe Biden in November. To me, on any of the key issues, he had no answers. He just doubled down. It was like a laundry list. It was hard to even focus on. And for instance, like on the whole issue of inflation, I mean, the fact that gasoline has gone up $1.50 a gallon just in the last year, and that's a direct result of what he's done with the pipeline. Not even a mention of that. Not even a mention of how the fact that we've now become energy dependent on Russia means that we are enabling and we're financing Russia's war against Ukraine. And there was just nothing there that seemed to connect. If he had just said, listen, I understand that people are concerned about this, that people are concerned about that, and then try to give some reason. But instead, he just said he's doing the greatest job in the world. And I don't think that influenced or moved the needle at all.
Former Senator Harvey, President Biden has a very optimistic outlook for the direction of this nation. He made that clear. Let's take a listen to something he said.
On this night, on our 245th year as a nation, I've come to report on the state of the nation, the State of the Union. And my report is this: the State of the Union is strong because you, the American people, are strong. We are stronger today. We are stronger today than we were a year ago.
Okay, now listen to CNN's Jake Tapper and what he had to say about that moment from the speech.
And Abby, I have to say, every president has to say the State of the Union is strong, even when it does not necessarily feel strong. There are a lot of hurting people out there.
So, Harvey, Ted, sorry, he didn't want to go full Gerald Ford, right? He didn't want to say the State of the Union is not good, because he knew if he would have said, right, that would have just opened the floodgates for criticism. What were your thoughts on what we just played?
Well, I think the congressman was exactly right in his comments that this didn't inspire anybody. And when he was trying to inspire people, he was actually trying to gaslight them. The American people understand that the gas prices have gone up over 50% since this president got elected. And the inflation rate is at a 40-year high. The COVID numbers and what this administration has been doing by shutting down businesses and forcing people to be vaccinated against their will, that is not a recipe for success, and that's a reason why he has a 39% approval rating at the highest of all of the polls that are out there right now. The Democrats are looking to get obliterated in November, and this speech didn't do anything to help the party or help this country moving forward.
A minute left, 30 seconds to you, Andrea, to start. Again, the topic of COVID coming up, the fact that we could all see everyone's faces, a major shift in the approach to the pandemic at this point.
Well, I don't necessarily consider it a major shift. I think that was basically a costuming choice to make people think that it was a major shift. He didn't make any announcements, did he, that the federal government will be no longer mandating shot requirements that are causing a purge of our military. You still have to wear a mask on an airplane. There's school districts around the country that still require children to wear masks. So that was an optical illusion for theatrics as a part of the gaslighting that Ted mentioned.
Okay.
Interesting point.
Yeah.
Congressman King, apologies. We'll get you on the other side of this break. So panelists, if we could stay with us. Coming up, Texans headed to the polls. Now the stage is set for what could be a major battle for the governorship in Texas. Our panelists weigh in with their predictions when National Report returns.
America's favorite and most talked about bear is back. Introducing the one and only newly redesigned Trumpy Bear. Trumpy Bear's tie now features America First, and his thumbs up let everyone know he will always be there for you. Just find the secret zipper and pull out the American flag themed blanket and show your patriotism by proudly displaying Trumpy Bear in your home. Trumpy Bear is here. Trumpy Bear is there. Trumpy Bear is everywhere. Order the finely crafted super plush Trumpy Bear for only 3 payments of $19.95 with free shipping. We'll even include a special certificate of authenticity. Trumpy Bear is not sold in stores, so don't miss out on owning a priceless piece of American history. Order now.
To order your Trumpy Bear for 3 payments of $19.95 with free shipping, call 1-800-603-6302 or go